Selling an inherited home adds layers of complexity. Let's face it, there's legal, there's financial, there's dealing with family. My goal today is to help you put together a plan for selling your inherited home and hopefully answer any questions that you might have. And you'll want to stick with me all the way till the very end, where I'm going to share my top 3 crucial tips that you won't want to miss when you're selling an inherited property. Hey guys, I'm Lucas Smith, your local real estate expert. Inheriting a home is a veritable wave of emotions. I mean, look, there's grief, there's loss, all the great memories that you had there at mom and dad or grandma and grandpa's house. But then the reality hits. What do I do with the house? All this can be really overwhelming. First off, in my experience, there's a huge emotional impact. Let's face it, you're selling, the home that you grew up in. Don't just dive right in and start the work. Give yourself some time to grieve and some time to go through the process with it. You don't have to sell the house tomorrow. Also, know that dealing with and sorting through your loved one's belongings is going to be emotional. So be patient with yourself. So let's talk about the legal process. And first off, let me say I'm a real estate broker, not a lawyer. You might need to consult one depending on your situation. Let's talk about what is probate. Probate is the legal process of validating the will if there is one. And if there's not one, the state determines what they think the deceased wishes would have been. Probate is also in charge of settling all the deceased person's debts and distributing all of their assets. In any case except for where there's a trust, you will need to work with a probate attorney. If there's a trust, you're going to need to work with the executor of the estate. This process, it can take 6 to 9 months on average in California to settle a probate case. So be patient. Next, when we're talking about real property, assess the situation. How many heirs are involved? Do some heirs want to keep the property? Are they ready, willing, and able to buy the other heirs out? The biggest things I've run into is where there's some heirs who want to keep the property and they just can't afford it. Check all your options first before agreeing to anything. Any agreements that you have, put those agreements in writing. This avoids disputes later. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about financials and taxes. Consult your tax guy for exact ramifications for you. So the first tax consideration is capital gains tax. So what is capital gains tax on an inherited property? The property's cost basis is a stepped up value from the date of the owner's death. What this means for you in plain English is if you sell an inherited property sooner rather than later after the owner's death, you're going to minimize your capital gains tax. If you hold that property for 5 to 10 years and the value goes up significantly, you're going to pay more capital gains tax because you're going to be making profit on an investment. So if you want to minimize your capital gains tax, sell the property sooner rather than later. When you inherit a property, there's going to be some ongoing cost. Who's going to pay the maintenance, the taxes, the mortgage if one's still owed? So decide early what you're going to do about those and put those agreements in writing. When you do sell, there's going to be some closing costs. Factor in title, escrow, commissions. Also factor in any repair costs that you might incur when getting the property ready for sale. Next, prepare the home for sale. And the first part of that is dealing with your loved one's belongings. Look, you guys, this is often the most emotional and time-consuming part. You're going to want to sort through all the personal items on the property. You're going to want to give everybody a chance to keep what they want, and you're going to decide what's valuable that you can sell and what you should just donate away. Be sensitive about this. Don't just you make the decisions for everybody. Give all of your family members an opportunity to come through and take what they want before you start the sell and donate and throw away process. Clean thoroughly. What repairs are necessary? Is the roof leaking? Is the HVAC system not working, right? Is there anything majorly wrong with the house that you need to address before you put it on the market and put it up for sale? New flooring or carpet and paint can drastically improve a home's value and improve its condition in the eyes of the buyer. Sometimes, and especially in probate sales, selling it as is might just be the best deal for you because it might need so many repairs or so many updates to get it up to current market standard that it's just something you're unable or unwilling to do. Choose an agent carefully, right? Look for somebody who's got a lot of experience and knowledge about selling probate and inherited properties, somebody who's done this a lot. Make sure your agent, because they're experienced, is going to understand what timelines you're facing based on your particular situation. Look, a trust property is going to sell a lot faster than one that has to go through probate. And if the agent you're talking to doesn't know that, you should not talk to that person. Interview at least 3 agents and get a comparative market analysis from all 3. Decide who you think is going to take the best care of you and your family, and who's going to make the most honest promises about what they can do in regards to getting your home sold. Pricing it correctly is the #1 thing you can do to attract the most potential buyers into your property and end you up with the most money in your pocket. Know that you're going to follow the typical home sale process: listing, marketing, showing, getting offers, negotiating those offers, and going through the escrow period. Be prepared for potential delays, especially if you're going through probate court. The court system moves as fast as the court system moves, and there's nothing you can do about it. So make sure when you do choose a potential buyer, especially if you're doing a probate sale that has to go through the probate court's approval, that the buyer is ready, willing, and able to wait for that process to come completely through before closing the sale. Because the last thing you want to do is be at the end of the road in probate court and the buyer decides they can't wait anymore. All right, here's my 3 crucial tips that you'll need to know when you're selling an inherited property. #1, get good professional advice early. Consult with your tax professional, a probate attorney if necessary, and a good real estate agent right out of the gate. #2, get a professional appraisal near the time of death. This will help you when you have to value the home at the time of the person's death versus when you sold it. So that's going to impact your stepped up tax basis and give you something to go to the appraiser with to fight your battle and make sure you're not paying too much taxes on it. #3, don't rush. If there's no financial pressure, if you don't have to do it right away, take your time, go through the process, and make sure you're doing it right and serving you and your fellow heirs the best. Have you sold an inherited home? Describe your experience in the comments below. And if you have any suggested videos or I missed something, feel free. Comment, share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Lucas Smith, broker owner of Sell My Home Real Estate. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video.